Did you not start it?
I just started it. Okay, so we didn't need to call to order Pledge of Allegiance or roll call because we had that at the other meeting. And our motion to accept the minutes was made by
Me?
Joey, seconded by
Jason.
Jason, and we all said aye. Now we're caught up. So people know that we have money in savings, and you know, they wonder why we're not spending. I don't know. Mark threw a number at me earlier, like, I know you got $7 million, which we had nowhere near $7 million. But we do have $2 million in savings, and I would like to keep that in savings because right now our contract with Alliance for selling sand brings us about $500,000 a year, which we put toward our general fund. And that's what keeps our general fund tax rate at 60 cents per thousand, opposed to our neighboring towns like, well, Saranac, for instance, their general tax rate is $2.40. So that money we get from the sand really helps us as far as our tax rates go. Once that's not there anymore, then we have the savings that we can pull from as we find other means of income. Because from what multiple people, residents tell me, they're concerned about the sand, the fact that sand is going down significantly. And on the contract, we still have another year of them hauling. So, you know, that's another possibly 50,000 tons that would be taken out of there. So just to, you know, just to let people know, this is kind of like a savings plan to have these funds, because down the road, we don't want to get slapped with that big increase in our general fund when that comes. We're trying to get more income coming in various places, but just trying to be prudent, looking into the future, where we don't want to catch ourselves short.
Plus on that note, we gotta make sure with the sand, we use it here for winter time too, and if we run out of that sand, then we're gonna start purchasing it.
And that would just be sad
Another-
that we have.
Who knows how much is up there, left there, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's scary when you go up there and look and see that the whole tops of those sand piles are just gone. I mean, it's you know, not a very, you don't realize how much is gone until you actually go up there and see how much sand is taken out of there.
How many years have they been drawing? Is it 10?
Yes, the initial contract was for 5, and they renewed it again for a lower price, but we won't get into that. And then, yeah, so they have this summer and next summer on the contract. Whether we could cancel the last year of the contract, but then again, then you're talking about where's the funding coming from. So that's something, you know, it's a double-edged there. So.
You should also talk a little bit, Debbie, about the investments we've made to secure our funding through our money market and stuff like that. Not a lot of people know what we've done on the sidelines and generate more stability in our cash flow.
Yep, so we've put the savings we do have into money market that's paying us on an average 5% on the savings. So 2 years ago, our interest for the whole year on our approximately $2 million was $74 for the year. We were getting 0.02%. So we moved it, we're in 5%. So last year was our first full year of it, and basically we earned about $100,000 in interest. So keep doing that. We have some of the highway funds are also in, you know, they've got like about 200,000 in savings that they can build up, and you know, and that's important for the highway fund to have that, because you know, if something breaks all of a sudden and it's not in the budget, then at least they have an emergency place to draw from. So, plus, you know, we're looking into the battery storage thing. We have the cell towers, trying to look at things that the town could get money from without having to sell any more of our product.
I think if we reestablish, then my mind is not always where it's supposed to be lately. If we reestablish with the company who's going to establish in Mineville, they take a very minimal part of that whole pile and they will be leaving the remains there. They're looking for one specific mineral, that's all they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And if they fish that out, the rest is gonna sit there just like it does now as waste. That was
Right.
waste from the mines. And it will go back there and I just don't remember the mineral they wanted, but
Mm-hmm.
they may pay good money and not take very much,
Right.
take very much of our material.
Right, if they just extract that, is that the Phoenix or is that the
I
other?
think it's Phoenix, yeah.
And when I talked to them a couple years ago, but they said, well, we had this contract going.
Right,
They
they wanted
didn't want
exclusive,
such
once they got rolling, they wanted, which this guy pretty much is exclusive, I mean,
Mhm.
except for the towns.
I mean, we could investigate, if they were willing to jump in quickly, we could investigate, trying to cancel our last
Right.
year of this hauling contract, because, yeah, 50,000 tons going out is a big dent in that sand pile.
That it does.
I mean, they've taken out, well, they've had the contract for 8 years, they've been taking 50,000 tons a year for 8 years. That's a lot of sand, that's going over the border.
It's making a lot of money.
He is, hand over fist.
And then we're also generous to our neighboring township, especially Ellenburg.
Yep,
We have a special deal, we cut with them for their sand
yep.
as
But
well.
they take 600 loads. I mean, they are 600, I think they took 600 yards, tons, 600 tons.
Yeah, that's
So, you know, which is a drop in the bucket compared to what, the 50,000 tons. But they, you know, they use it on the roads, and that's part of our shared services. We give them, let them purchase. And small amounts like that, we have other places. We have, there's that
Lake
camp
Placid.
in Lake Placid that our sand is perfect for their septic thing. And
For
like
the
every
drainage.
7 to 10 years, they need to replace that sand, and so they buy, you know, 18 loads of sand and pull out all that sand and put in new sand. So we have little small things like that we can get money from, where it's not taking all of the product. But, you know, those are the kinds of things that we try to investigate to get more money for the town without giving up a lot of our assets. But, yeah, okay. I gotta keep my glasses on, I gotta read. All right. I didn't have anyone addressing the board. I've got public comments on non-agenda items. Everyone's got an agenda. If you want to comment on something that's actually on the agenda already, please wait till the end. I will ask you afterwards. That way, in case I'm already going to answer your questions with what we're saying or information that comes out from the board members. Okay. So does anyone have something that's not on the agenda that they want to discuss? Okay. The Brookfield battery storage. So that, we talked about this quite a bit, and I wanted to open it up for, the contract hasn't been signed yet for them, but I want to open it up again just to make sure everyone's aware that we have a 7 acre pie-shaped piece of property this side of Lion Mountain, where the old tar plant, all that sand that's on that side. Brookfield Battery Storage, they have storage facilities all over New York State, in the Adirondack Park, that wants to lease that piece of property eventually for battery storage. They look for pieces of property that are near substations. And what they would do is store the additional power coming off the substations in these batteries, and then if everything goes to hell in a handbasket and they need to feed it back into the into the grid. So it takes a couple of years for them to do their due diligence to come and make sure that the substation can handle having stuff fed back to it, everything's good with NICEAG, that kind of thing. And during the due diligence time, they will pay us $1,000 an acre annually. So $7,000, it's 7.1 acres, so about 7,000. And then if they determine it's a good place for it and to proceed, then they'll pay $4,000 per acre with a 2% increase every year. They came and gave a talk, and it's basically, it looks like a bunch of tractor trailers. Inside, it's segmented, there's cooling systems, there's fire suppression systems inside. They monitor all of them 24/7. If they see a hot spot, they close that one down. And, cause that's been a big concern about fires. They said that they would come, if they decide that they're going to put the battery storage things there, they would come and train local fire departments if they were needed, and what kind of equipment they would need, they would provide if it's not something they already have. So they're kind of covered the bases. I talked to, what town is it? Down near Warrensburg. They have one of these, and it hasn't been an issue. Theirs is like a 40-acre one. I mean, they have a huge one, but up here, we have small substations, so it's a smaller area. And they look for municipal properties to put these on.
It's all fenced in and secured, and they have maintenance, they take care of it all.
And that's one of the good things is that it'll be fenced with cameras, so it would.
What kind of batteries?
It's called battery storage, but basically they're storing excess.
Yeah, I realize that,
Yeah,
but what kind of batteries are they using?
I'm not sure of the material makeup of the battery, Alan. I thought it was something close to what we were producing at Nova Bus, one of those kind of battery systems, but it's not. I couldn't tell you. It's we have the battery types. I can find that out for you, 'cause they actually
Yeah.
gave it. They came here and gave a presentation, a really good presentation.
Yeah, we've
And,
got a pretty thick.
Pamphlet on it, about
Pamphlet.
everything,
Yeah.
what it entails and everything, but
Certain types of batteries do have more hazards than others.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know, it is lithium, that's an animal all in itself. That's probably what you were using at Nova Bus, with lithium.
yeah. It was like a hybrid battery that we were doing at Nova Bus, because to this date, there's still no medium that's been configured to put it out. Once it starts,
Yeah, that's lithium.
it burns. These here, they said they can shut down. Once the battery at Nova Bus starts, you can't shut it down, it just goes.
And they have cooling systems within that trailer, so at the most, they would lose that one trailer worth of batteries or whatever's in there.
Yeah, actually the trailer is more configured toward a shipping can, basically, than a trailer. It's
Mhm.
heavy duty, it's steel reinforced, and I
Is
mean,
it
they
treated?
looked at our property and they said they had the perfect spot for the installation of the battery. And really, if you wanna go into a contract with the value of the property, with us putting our material on your property, it's pretty much your hands off. We take care of the rest of it. We just write you a check.
Yeah,
You
and
know what
it's
kind of
a,
voltages they're storing?
no, and
Not off
that's,
the top of my head.
yeah, and that's part of their research for the first couple of years is what can that handle, cause that substation may not be able to
you
handle
know, what they can and can't
doing
put
what
there.
they.
I didn't know if they were storing at the primary site or secondary site. You know, just different-
No, I think they are storing. That's a damn good question, because we covered it. I think they're storing on the secondary side.
So some lower voltage. Okay.
I think so. Don't quote me. I'll check. We can find that out. It's a good question, whether it's primary or secondary.
But
It's an excellent question, actually.
it's an ideal place because there's no residences
Right.
around it.
We can get a couple pamphlets out so that we can,
Yeah, it's,
check it out and see, I mean, it's
Just
nothing,
Just questions to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down the primary,
Is it
secondary. I
over?
thought it was secondary, but I may be wrong in that. I'm gonna write that down.
he
We'll
went
find that
over
out.
all this stuff with us, and just, we don't
Yeah.
even know if it's gonna be a fit for the property, so that's the first step, is see if it's gonna
Right.
beneficial.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
Yep.
But-
Yeah, and in this due diligence part, if they decided something that, if the town decides, oh, we really don't wanna proceed with this, you know, they've decided, oh, we're gonna do this and this, the town can stop it too. You know, it's not like, once we sign this contract, that we're stuck with it. We can, before
Back
they,
up.
before they
Back
put a
up.
shovel to the ground, we could say.
Yeah, there's a
"It's not
risk
really gonna
part of
work."
the contract.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because, I mean, anytime you build electricity, there is risks.
Yeah.
Have these things caught fire before? And if they have, how toxic are the fumes that come out of these trailers?
They haven't had, I don't think they have had a fire.
Total
themselves.
meltdown, no.
No, and there should not be any fumes that escape because it would be contained in the one shipping container, I call it a trailer, because when you look at the pictures, it looks like a trailer.
Because the way you explained it, like, the fire department really, there wasn't really nothing for us to really do, because it was, they can shut it down quick, and it's. I
And
mean,
they have
honestly,
like
water,
suppression
that's the one.
systems inside the trailers, have like a
It's like you see
fire
at gas
suppression
tanks,
system.
like
Yeah, and
your
there's
fuel
gonna-
stations, same thing.
And then you'll have a guy, there's actually like a maintenance guy or whatever it is, that's gonna be somewhere kinda local, that's gonna be able to respond to this like right off. That's how they explained it, so,
The water suppression, or, do you know?
I mean,
I would think-
they even say anything about suppression?
Yeah, I think he said it was foam.
Yeah,
We'll
I
double
think,
check
yeah,
that,
because
too.
there's no water on site, so. Yeah.
So, if the power goes out, what do these things do?
They can
They
feed
feed-
back to the grid.
So, like, let's say that substation up there is Lime Mountain, okay? If the power in Lime Mountain goes out, will that feed that substation and then they'll have power?
I think so.
That's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
That's why they're feeding the secondary side.
Yeah.
They're not, because if you lose your primary,
Everything goes
you'll
down.
you'll still have your secondary
Yeah,
voltage.
I'm sorry, but I'm not here about this, but this is only for the town of Lime Mountain, though, just for Lime Mountain Hamlet.
So it's that substation. So whatever,
Yeah, that just
whatever
sounded
feeds
like-
off that substation.
Yeah.
Shadowgate Lake comes to Legion, Lime Mountain, 374, right there, just below the Legion. From there down, around Shadowgate, and this end is the power plant. I don't know how far down this way it comes.
It
Yeah, I
doesn't-
I think it goes to Shady Lake Road a little bit, I
No.
believe.
No,
No?
No.
Like I said, I'm not a hundred
no,
percent
that's,
sure.
I mean,
but-
that's only Lime Mountain issue.
Basically,
area
well,
up there.
yeah.
It has nothing to do with this area,
Yeah.
No.
nothing to do with it.
No.
But the money will come to the whole town.
How much?
It's,
Yeah.
1,000.
I can't see it.
Yeah, it's a, well, while they're doing the research part of it, you know, the checking to see if it's a good site, if the substation can handle what they wanna do, it's 1,000 per acre annually, so let's say $7,000. And then if they decide, and the town agrees that they're going to actually build there, then it's $4,000 per acre, annually with a 2% increase every year. So, for a piece of property that is just sitting there,
Is the fire department ready and capable of putting the fire out when it starts?
Yeah,
and they will come and train and
there's not a whole lot the fire department really does.
Then provide
The way you
equipment.
explained it.
You just let her burn.
No,
well, it's contained within the unit that it's in. It's self-contained, it has fire suppression inside the container. And, you wouldn't even know, other than, I mean, I suppose you would notice eventually that is burnt, but they can shut it down remotely. As soon as they have someone monitoring, everything 24/7. If they see something getting hot, they shut it down. So they get ahead of it. If something does catch on fire, they can do it. But they did say that they would, I don't know if you were here when they came and did were you here when
No, I
they did
missed
the?
that meeting, you know.
They said they would provide, if they do it, they would come and provide the local fire departments with any training that they would need and any additional equipment that they would need if they don't already have it.
That's what I've been reading about them, that's the biggest complaint is the fire
Right,
with it because of toxic smokes and stuff that come off and what that
Right.
is, you know.
this particular company, they are set up in various places in the Adirondack Park. And the couple places that I've called, there's one place I called down in park, but downstate, that has a 40-acre lot. And they've not had a problem. They've had it for a couple of years. This company also does energy storage at dams and whatnot, because they also have several of those in the Adirondack Park.
But there's no plans on any solar power yet to store, right?
Not solar power, not yet, no.
Or any power,
We've
right?
got,
Are they planning on, is it solar power they're planning on?
no, they're just gonna collect from the grid and then feed back to the grid. If the grid goes, if the grid goes down, they can feed back into it. So they're basically storing NYSEG's power
Right.
to feed back if they
And
need
how
to.
long would that last? Is there a duration on that?
For how long, you mean the contract, or?
No, how long this power that they're storing, I mean, obviously it's a demand, but I mean, is there an estimate? Are we storing it for an hour, 5 days? What is there?
It's power, I would think it's there until they use it.
No, but I mean, if it does get used, how long does that
Oh, to
power?
recover it?
Yeah, how long does that go before there's no more power? That's what I'm asking.
I have no idea. That's information, depends on, when they come and do their research on that property, like I said, it's gonna take a couple of years, they think, to make sure that all the infrastructure is in place as far as NYSEG goes
With the grid.
before they, go, and so it's just gonna depend on probably what they can get out off them as to how long, how much, and whatnot. I mean, we're in the investigatory stage right now. They're gonna come and, I'm sure a lot of their research has to do with the grid, with what's there now. Can this handle, we can store energy from it, but can it handle us pushing it back to it?
How much can
And-
they put there? Like, is
Yeah.
it worth it,
Right, and, they might, in 2 years, they might say,
It's not big enough.
Well, to me, I mean, it seems like an awful lot of money to send power back to Lime Mountain. I mean, there's gotta be an alternative to this, because, I mean, look at Lime Mountain, why would you go through all this money to provide, that?
well,
to
I'm
that
sure
small-
NYSEG must be paying them, or, somebody's gotta pay them. They're not
Some
doing
get
it out of
some
the
money,
kindness
right.
of their
Well,
heart,
yeah, that's
so.
what I mean, somebody that lives there wants reliable power, that's got this,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? 'Cause look
You
at-
never know what those little behind the scenes conversations
Yeah.
taking place between NYSEG and this company that's wanting to come in and.
Well, I just wondered, is it worth our safety, you know what I mean, that's.
Well,
Well,
it's,
that's,
it's funny you say that, because I've been listening to some of the comments over the past couple of months about the battery storage area and about the toxicity and the flames and the smoke, but you know what? I'm not hearing a damn thing about all these electric cars we're building there going to the street. I'm not hearing a damn thing about the Nova buses,
when they catch on fire.
when they catch on fire, that, basically, if you haven't seen one, please go to YouTube and just click in transit bus fire. It's seconds. The thing is, and talk about billowing black smoke and toxic fumes.
Well, if
They
you wanna
cleared-
talk about that,
they
I'll
cleared
talk
an
about
entire
that
block.
too, 'cause I'm totally against them because of that reason right there. They all figured out it's all good, but yeah, they plug it in their electric car to their diesel generator, you know what I mean? It's
So,
you know.
it's just one of those conversations that's going back and forth like a windshield wiper on the, like, okay, what do we do? I said, listen,
And like we said, if, in 2 years, if they say, well, I think we wanna build one here, and we can, at that point, we can say,
Well,
we
yeah.
decided not to,
Right,
because
yeah.
of, in the second year of doing it, we found out that one of their plants downstate,
Right, yeah.
crap.
Yeah, it's nothing even committed that we have to, we're gonna basically make probably $14,000, and then they're gonna present something to us, and we can all just say, no.
I think the other thing that's nice about it too is that we're able to watch in our own basically neighborhood another larger capacity battery storage bank that's 40 acres it's on?
Ours
Ours,
is 7.
No, the one that
Oh,
we're,
down, yeah,
the one that
40.
we're watching,
Yep, it's 40.
40 acres. So we got a nice little, call it brother, sister area that, okay, tell us how many years been in operation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How's it going? How many have gone to a hot state? That's good data for us to know
Right.
that she's in contact with it, that other,
And we can tell the company, give us your show us your records of, you know, how efficient you've been,
Right,
if
right.
there's been any accidents, if there's been any incidents.
I read an article on it, if it was in one of the, well, let's say, green Adirondack magazines, and there was pros and cons, you know,
Mhm.
both sides of it, you know?
Yeah.
But that was, the biggest thing was the hazard, you
Yeah.
know, fire, chemical, toxic hazard, you know, in turn, yes, it was a great thing because when we got power, you know, I mean, if the lights go out, but I mean, you know.
Yeah, but, like I say, and so we, you know, it's something that we'll watch. It's like, okay, yeah, pay us $7,000 a year while you look at the property and look here and there, and,
I think the whole power study, Ellenberg is really close to blasting off with their windmills and solar power, both. I would say by the end of next summer, they will be in action.
Well, they're doing a whole repower down there.
Well, it's at Chattagay now, they are putting more power lines in, and they're crossing 374 right by Chattagay now. And, looks like there's two sets, poles, and then there's the existing poles.
There's 120 windmills that are in the Clinton Elmer Wind Park right now.
Like, there's a whole new, there's a whole
Those
new project.
120 are going, they're taking them down.
There's a whole new project.
They're putting bigger
There's-
Right, and they're gonna put up like 25 of them.
Yeah,
That's
bigger,
gonna
they're
replace
bigger.
basically the same wattage as what's there.
They're bigger
Bigger,
and
taller, all that stuff. And that's,
154
One-
windmills, plus I forget how many acres of solar. Believe me, I got a contract and they want me to renew, and I haven't renewed with them, and so I talked with them quite a bit.
I think one of these
which
new
wind park are
windows
you in?
equals a 5.
The name of the company is Invenergy out of Chicago,
Right, but I mean, is the park
Bull Run.
established?
Bull Run Wind Project.
Okay, so you're on the east side of.
Well, that's what
Because there's
they're doing.
Clinton, there's Ellenberg,
They're running off of the existing projects that are there and going east
going east with those.
towards Morris. They're almost extended to Morris.
The ones I'm talking about are the ones that are in Clinton now, those are coming down.
Well,
And they're putting new ones up.
Yeah,
because
in their place.
their life expectancy is only,
Well, they've been up 20 years.
as I
Really,
mean,
yeah,
they need to renew.
yeah.
But
well, I think a guy I work with is telling me that one of these new ones that's going up will take place of 5 of the ones that are up right now.
4.5 megawatts as
They're all
opposed to
bigger.
1.5 megawatts.
and
They've got a
The ones
contract.
that went up in the original wind park were obsolete before they went up. They were
Right.
originally purchased for a project in Michigan,
Correct.
and then they realized they didn't have the infrastructure. to put them in.
That's correct.
so I believe the top of the propeller, when it's at its peak, will be 420 feet.
And I think we've had about 4 of them burned so far.
But they cut way back on the windmills, and they're putting in a lot more solar panels. Like they started at 400, looks like they finalized at 154, but they've got a lot of acreage of panels, boy, a lot of.
The Ashland farm in Morris is just,
They're already,
Oh, yeah.
NICEAG's got a thing, I just got a letter from NICEAG, and if you go on their program, you will get a 10% cut, and the power is coming from Ashland, it says right in the letter. I got that last bill, I got that little pamphlet, the last bill.
okay.
Okay.
All right,
Good conversation.
yeah. Okay, we're good. Move on, anywhere? Okay. Resolutions. I gotta put my glasses up because I gotta read something on paper. Okay. Motion to approve the June bills, I'll read it into the record. General fund, $15,515.90. Highway fund, $11,650.91. Line Mountain Light District, $938.67. Line Mountain Sewer District, $7,790.04. Line Mountain Water District, $693.23. Dannemare Water District 2, $25. Ledgers Water District, $1,097.16. Trust and Agency, $3,278.89, for the grand total of $40,989.80.
Make a motion to pay the bills for June 2024 of $40,989.80.
No, second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Joey.
Yes.
Deb.
Yes. Okay, so the next one is, we've already approved buying it, but they need to see the motion that approved me to sign the lease to buy contract for the Western Star tandem, which we still don't have yet and will not pay toward until we have its shiny little body here in the yard. The total balance for that truck is $330,200.65.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve, sign the lease for the new Western Star tandem for a total of $330,265. And no payments will be made on that until date of delivery.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joey.
Yep.
Deb.
Yes. Next one, motion to approve the contract with New England Aquatic Services for milfoil harvesting in Shazy Lake for $10,000, which is in our budget, in our environmental line for Shazy Lake.
I'll go ahead and make that motion to approve the contract with New England Aquatic Services for the milfoil harvesting for our lake here in Shazy Lake for the amount of $10,000.
Second that. I just have, I don't know how pertinent it is, but our town of Dannemora address is inaccurate.
Oh, on the contract? Okay. Well, we'll fix that before we sign it.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joey.
Yep.
Deb.
Yes. Sorry, couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
40M, yeah, they've got
They got
the
the
village's address on there.
Nine.
Motion to approve me signing the insurance contract with Nymer, minus the cyber part of it, for $86,867.46.
Make the motion that we sign the cyber contract for $86,867.46.
The Nymer contract, yeah.
I'll second it.
All excluded. Okay.
Any more discussion?
Sorry
Roll call,
about that.
Jim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joey.
Yep.
Deb.
Yes. And then we also need to sign a separate insurance contract with One Group, which used to be Sid Spear, but they were bought by Community Bank, I believe, and now they're One Group. They're gonna provide the cyber because Nymer's cyber was much more expensive. So we're gonna go stick with them for our cyber insurance for $3,558.19.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the signing insurance contract with One Group, AKA Sid Spear, for the cyber cost of $3,558.19.
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joey.
Yep.
Deb.
Yes. Okay. Old business. Water District Number 2 update. We had, Jim was there, I was there, Jim Abdullah came, looked over the area. Water District 2 is the one that's on the east side of the village, where we had some frozen line problems this past winter. He came out to get a feel for the whole district, what needs to be done to possibly, what they can do to fix that problem. And, because telling the residents to just keep their water running is not a solution. So we're getting a grant to pay for the engineering cost of it. And then once he gives us our recommendations, then we'll need to go out for money to fix it. So that's in progress right now.
We're talking about how, like what way, they're gonna come under the road or stay the way it is?
Well, I'd say he's looking at what the
Looking at
best.
different options for it.
The old, or whatever prints he had, it made it look like it went from Augie's and looped across 374, which it never did, which would make total sense for recirculation on that line, but it never did that. And it doesn't even look like it's punched under the brook, it looks like it's on the shoulder of the road between the culvert and the blacktop. It's only really affected one house, or one premises.
Drill a well.
Huh?
Drill a well.
It's gonna do the same thing, because he's not gonna turn his water on.
But we did have some issues in that district with, failure of the
Clamping.
clamping, so,
From the original piping, they never used stainless bolts on any of the clamps, they all deteriorated in the ground.
so our two main breaks that we had there were because the bolts just rusted off the clamps, so. Yeah, but that's ongoing. Veterans Park update. We will, I had a really good conversation with Frank, and he brought up a very good, point about, once we established we didn't want vehicles in the lake, but we need to get vehicles down closer to the lake for handicap parking. We're gonna work handicap parking into the plan, and so we can get a couple of spots closer down by the lake, so that people that, can't traverse up and down the hill, can get closer to the lake. So that's gonna go in there. We're not gonna do anything there until after the 4th of July weekend, and still gonna try to see if we can cram as much work together, get everything in place so we can do a bunch of things all at once, so that, our blocking the lake is as short a time frame as possible, because we have to put up silt fence the very first thing before we put a shovel in the ground. So once the silt fence is up, you can't go into the lake in that spot. Then you can deal with the DEC if you do, because they're the ones that tell us to put the silt fence up, and if somebody decides they're gonna go through it or whatever, then that's, the DEC can deal with them.
And that's just on the left side of the pump house.
We've had contractors out there, looking at, initially, we talked about putting, like landscape timbers to build up the tier. He's out there and basically said it's not gonna work, because the amount of water that runs off the road there, it would be a short amount of time before it rotted out, even pressure treated, which don't wanna have that by the lake anyway. And, they talking about a rock, basically building like rock tiers, which we have plenty of rock, get some building size and basically retaining wall size, rocks to build up there.
I'll
And-
donate some.
Yeah, I know, you go to other parts of this country and they're buying rocks, and it's like, you go to Florida and they buy, they'll pay $400 for a rock to sit in their yard. It's like, ooh, I have a lawn feature.
I'll give it to you free.
I got a brother-in-law who did that, and I'm like, yeah, I got some rocks for you. That's moving forward. Also have the monument on order, or to be ordered. It's a natural stone. The front is polished, but the rest of it's like a natural stone, so it just looks like
It's like this right here.
it fits in. And it'll be bigger than that. But it'll look, it's a black stone. The polished part of it's gonna be black, so the writing in it will be very vibrant, because it's gray behind. And the sides and the back are all natural stone, all natural gray look. So trying to keep it look as natural as possible, so that it's not a glaring thing there. And
Good. Granite?
excuse me?
Is it granite? Made of granite?
Yes, yeah.
The placement of that, now that you're gonna let a car go down in there, you're gonna move that out of the
Yeah,
way?
we'll have to
Keep in
decide, put it
mind
someplace
that
a
for-
little bit further, probably where one of those, like where that first fireplace is.
For snow removal purposes,
Yeah.
so nobody, because it's not gonna be that big where we get blown in with snow up there, that they don't see it with the loader or something and
Yeah.
scoop it, you know?
And actually, we're probably gonna put a wooden cage over it during the winter so that someone doesn't run into it, because,
Right,
I mean,
yeah, snowmobile.
especially during the fishing tournament, when people decide they're gonna try to drive into the lake through there and don't.
You had to go through all that work and
yeah.
have it destroyed by, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, we're
something.
we'll make sure that that's protected. But yeah, like where that first fireplace, because those fireplaces, the highway guys were gonna move them, but they said, we're gonna try to pick them up, they're just gonna go away. And so, but that's a good spot for it where that first one is, so. So things are moving on that.
I do have one, actually, I'll make a comment on that. And it's not so much just for the memorial, but I think it's overall in general for our entire township. There's no doubt our society has changed. The more money that we get for grants, the more money that we spend ourselves to make our children's parks more accessible, better quality. They're being vandalized, and we gotta do something more than just spend a lot of money on nice stuff like this. We gotta spend more money, I think, on protecting what we do invest in, so it doesn't get vandalized. And I don't know how we do that in the future, because we gotta do something, we gotta think out of the box differently than we did 20 years ago. We didn't worry about it.
I'll be back, I got it.
Didn't worry about it at all.
Keep
And
talking.
today,
I'll be back.
I mean, I forget what we spent on just doing the bathrooms at the beach. Was it 9,000? How much?
All the damage is almost close to
$8,000. So,
And that's, and it happens everywhere, but that place is one of those ones that's secluded, you know what I mean? The gate's closed, so if they park somewhere remotely, they walk in there, nobody's coming in, they got the place pretty much to themselves, you know? It's just, it's ripe for the picking, basically, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's nobody's fault that it is that way.
I hear you,
It
but
is what it is, you know?
I think we should start thinking that more out of the box though, Frank, and how do we protect the investments that we have for this community so it's not destroyed by some people that really probably don't even live in our area, or two are on something they shouldn't be on, right? So, I don't know, it bothers me to know that what we just spent just to fix the bathroom at the beach, and it's just,
I know
more's gonna happen, I can tell you.
we talked, I know we talked
What we live
about,
in today.
I know we talked about cameras and stuff.
Well,
I'm
when,
working
we'll,
with an
yeah,
outfit right now.
when we get there,
Okay.
when we get there.
We're getting there, Joey.
Well, I was
Good.
looking,
I'll just,
Are you gonna be putting a
He's
porta
right.
potty or trash can up there,
at the,
Veteran Park?
yeah,
Porta potty, that coming soon,
yeah.
for the beach,
Mhm.
or whatever you wanna call it up there?
Yeah, we didn't put one up yet, but we will be putting one up shortly. Did you, I didn't know what I did with it.
Put it extra.
I probably left it on the glass.
Because that did alleviate a lot of problems last year, having that and the trash can there. Apparently people did use both, which is good, you know, that's what we want.
Yep,
The woods was still full of toilet paper.
yeah. People
The
still,
lady who has the camp right there.
people
came to
still
me twice,
went in the woods. It's like,
and it was full of toilet paper.
you can't,
And
Well, it's biodegradable.
and whatever goes with toilet paper.
yeah, you can't. But yeah, they didn't deliver that porta potty yet, but we told them to. So I don't know if they're, I don't know if they got a shortage of porta potties or Roto-Rooter, but, okay, so,
We do have a local outfit that does porta potties. Drapos.
Who is it?
Drapos.
Where's that?
Oh, he's just in Elmer. He's only just started like 2 years ago, now.
Yeah, he's got a camp right on Shazy Lake, so his father was, or his grandfather,
Over on,
on Dubray Road.
DeBray Road, yeah. Oh, yeah, great. And the next one down, Hers.
Just
All right.
food for thought. Keep it warm.
Don't use food for thought in the same sentence as porta potties. Okay, FEMA update. We had, the dam safety engineer who we had to wait for him to look over the whole thing and say, yep, this is the right steps to take as far as fixing the seals on the gates. FEMA came and said, hey, we'd really like to give you some mitigation funds to help toward the rest of the dam, the cracks and the concrete work that needs to be done on the rest of the dam. There's two kinds of mitigation funds. There's one kind that deals with an event, a FEMA event, and then there's one that just, oh, by the way, we can also fix this. And that's the type of FEMA funds that mitigation funds that they're offering. So the engineer came out, we walked the dam back and forth twice. They took notes of everything that needs to be taken care of. There's no problems from the beach to the gatehouse. It's from the beach down to the parking area.
Parking area.
Where has all that concrete that like slopes down to the lake. And a lot of that concrete is, it's shifted. There's some bad spots where you can see some rebar
Which direction?
toward
And towards
east.
Denmark.
So
The
from
east.
Danamora east, or
East.
from Danamora, from the beach east, along there, there's concrete that's, needs repair. It's weird because like near the gatehouse and whatnot, they didn't put the earth berm, you know, it's just the concrete's there and they've got, riprap and rocks and stuff against it, and that's fine. But where they put the sloping concrete is getting eaten up. But of course, that's where the wave action, because there's no woods or anything, that's where most of the waves are. So he's gonna write up a couple of different measures to satisfy DEC and to fix the problems so that we have to, you know, because I mean that's our most expensive thing in the town is taking care of that dam. And so if we can get the concrete and everything fixed. And he also has had great luck, this particular engineer has had great luck convincing DEC that some of the discrepancies that they give us on this dam are fruitless and they shouldn't be discrepancies because this is a historic dam for one thing. So they can't hold it to the same standards as modern dams. And every year we are given a dissatisfied, an unsatisfactory rating because our spillway is too small. Well, the spillway is not going to change. I mean, we're not going to build a new spillway or increase it. If DEC would downgrade it from a Class C dam to a Class B dam, the spillway is sufficient. And he's had